Joey Hudson in for Mike today as he continues his birthday week. His birthday yesterday. You sent a lot of birthday wishes, and I copied and pasted and sent him a lot of those as he takes the week off. So I'll be sitting in with you all week. Glad to have you. 800-655-MIKE, 1-800-655-6453 is how you join today's conversation. I hope you will. You can email me directly as well, joey@joeyhudson.com. Portions of today's show made possible by Hotel Hartness here in my home area of the upstate of South Carolina. Travel and Leisure World rates the Hotel Hartness the #1 resort in South Carolina, the third best in the U.S., and number 24 in the world. And again, it's right here in my beloved hometown of Greer in the upstate of South Carolina. You can go there too. Go to hotelhartness.com. That's hotelhartness.com. You know, there's been so much talk about the tariffs and what it has done to the financial markets. Friday was just a beating. Fortunately, yesterday was not as bad as the doom and gloom sayers. I don't think we had the Black Monday that was projected. It was down. We never want it to go down, but it does. That's the nature of the markets. Good news, though. Today, U.S. stocks jumped as the market opened just a little while ago. The Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped 1,238 points, gaining 3.2%, after losing more than 3,500 points since last Wednesday when the tariffs were announced during Trump's Liberation Day. The S&P has risen today 3.3%. NASDAQ 100 futures up 3.6%. And this is as a result of the markets and the powers that be within the financial markets seeing that the tariffs are working. People are coming to the table. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, no surprise there, but Israel yesterday in the Oval Office, he was the first to talk with the president saying, Israel's going to do the right thing. We're going to eliminate the tariffs. These other countries want to come to the table. They're lining up literally outside of the White House. Vietnam, for example, wanting to do a 0 for 0. I don't know that some of these deals we're going to accept. President Trump has hinted that he may leave the 10% tariffs in place regardless. And that may be their medicine for ripping us off for all these years. Now, some people like to sit back. The Democrats love to sit back and talk about the rich and how this is just going to help the rich. Donald Trump and his billionaire buddies. Well, guess who it hit pretty hard? From a Forbes report, as Trump fired the first shots of the global trade war last week, his net worth, according to Forbes, prior to Liberation Day, his net worth was $4.7 billion. $4.7 billion. Yesterday, that estimate of his net worth was down $4.2 billion. So it appears that President Trump lost $500 million since Liberation Day. We all, if you have anything in the market, if you have a 401k, if you have an IRA, you saw that too, if you looked at your statement. If you ignored my advice and looked at your statement. Because I'm no financial advisor, but that's my advice to you right now. Don't look at your 401k statement. I keep telling you, I tell my friends that. Ignore it. I had a caller a minute ago who talked about the money that he had lost in the last few days. You haven't lost anything. It's on paper. If you write it out, if you don't panic and you don't sell, you haven't lost anything. It's going to come back. I predict that by the end of today, you're going to see some of those earnings regained. And pretty quickly, you're going to see all of them come back, and then you're going to start making money again. 800-655-6453 is how you join the conversation today. Let's go to the phones. Betty is in Lansing, Michigan. Welcome, Betty. You're on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Tariffs. 58% on China, the highest there was. He dumped it way high. China's retaliating by cutting off all shipments, all access of America to all of the rare earth elements. Mm-hmm. And you might know what they are. I can't pronounce any of them.
I know.
They're cutting it all off, which is going to kill our industry. The things are necessary for solar panels. They're necessary for jet engines. They're necessary for all kinds of chemicals, and anything we make has rare earth minerals in it. And China is entirely, supposedly, I'm told, cutting off all shipments in retaliation for the tariffs on China. And that needs to be publicized, and somebody needs to be dealing with that. And it's really important, and I hope you'll put it out there.
Well, Betty, that's what China is claiming they're going to do. That's part of their posturing on tariffs, and that's part of the negotiation.
I got an email.
Betty, we're in this. We're just in this a few days. That's what they're talking about doing. But that's why the deal with Ukraine is important too, because Ukraine has some of those same minerals, and that's why the president wants this deal with Ukraine not only to get peace between Ukraine and Russia, but our deal with Ukraine would allow us to mine for those same minerals that we get from China.
I've seen the statistics. What the other there are some other sources. First of all, they're minuscule compared to what Russia has, and Russia has set up an application process where nothing will be shipped to the United States. Nothing that we need, from computer screens to you name it. Check it out.
But Betty, that's part of the deal, Betty. That's part of the deal with Ukraine. Some of the mineral rights that we would be getting.
I know that.
But here's the point. And listen to me for a minute. Betty won't let me talk. The deal is this. That's why we have to become less reliant on anybody, whether it's China, whether it's Ukraine, Russia, anybody. We have to start finding a source ourselves. Joey Hudson in for Mike today. A lot of text messages and calls coming in about was it Betty? I think it was Betty who just called a minute ago. And look, we have to be cognizant of the situation that China does have. That they mine a lot of the rare earth minerals that we need, products need. But we can't just roll over because China is threatening to, number one, increase tariffs, number two, withhold these rare earth minerals. What are they going to do with them? We're the largest market in the world. They're going to sit on them? So I understand Betty's concern, but we can't be held hostage. And that's what China has been doing. And that's part of why we eventually, I think, there'll be some type of security deal as part of an end to the war between Russia and Ukraine. And we'll be mining for some of those rare earth minerals in Ukraine. We've got to find them in other places. We can't remain to be reliant upon China for those. And now's the time to go ahead and break loose. So if China wants to keep them, let them keep them. We'll find our own source. And for our own security, that's what we need to do. The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, did another DOGE dump, as I call it, yesterday, announcing $51 million in cuts from the U.S. African Development Foundation. $51 million U.S. African Development Foundation. Now, what does this foundation do? It included hundreds of thousands of dollars for marketing shea butter and pineapple juice, as well as mango drying facilities. DOGE made the announcement on X yesterday, highlighting several initiatives that the money was put towards. $229,296 was used to market 100% organic shea butter in Burkina Faso. I don't even know where that is. It's some small area of Africa, I guess. $246,217 was spent on mango drying facilities in the Ivory Coast. $239,738 was spent on marketing pineapple juice in Benin. I don't know where that is either. The department also said that $99,000 was spent to increase yogurt production in Uganda. $84,059 was spent on a business incubator for spa and wellness entrepreneurs in Nigeria. And $50,000 was spent to train farmers how to grow dragon fruit in Senegal. $48,406 was spent on a WhatsApp marketing chatbot in Kenya. You know, in the early days of Elon Musk putting his team together and announcing some of the revelations of what Doge has found, you just thought it can't get worse. This is where our money's been going. President Trump, of course, tasked Doge to lift the hood and look under. Leave no stone unturned. And he's given them 18 months to do it. Last month, Doge shared that it had terminated 113 contracts valued at $4.7 billion, including a U.S. Department of Agricultural consulting contract valued at $145,000 for Peru climate change activities. The funding that was canceled also included $10 million for gender equity in the Mexican workplace, $12.2 million for worker empowerment in South America, and $6.25 million for improving respect for workers' rights in agricultural supply chains in the countries of Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. That's what our hard-earned tax dollars has been going to. The department has also canceled a number of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives at federal agencies, consulting contracts, leases for underused federal buildings, and duplicate agencies and programs. They're things we've been paying for buildings that have been empty since COVID. And in some instances will never be used again. As of yesterday, Doge says that it saved $140 billion, or about $870 per taxpayer, and that's growing daily. Does it make you a little angry when you hear about things like this? When you hear about $51 million that was used by the U.S. African Development Foundation for these absurd programs? Does that make you a little angry? That someone in our government thought this was a good idea? Let them send their money. Don't send my money. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. Your comments are welcome on the MyPillow text line. Back to the phones. Let's start with Tom in Philly. Welcome, Tom. You're on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Hey, Joey. Just a quick comment on the caller, Betty. Lady was talking about
yes.
Rare earth minerals. And I did read an article just the other day. There's already conversation underway with Australia, which is a significant source of those minerals. And then there are a lot of, and remember, it's not just two or three, and they're not all the same. So
yep.
They don't all exist in the same place. And there are a lot of sources in the United States that have been strangled in terms of mining
yep.
by overregulation. So
yep.
Once again, we should not, same as with the stock market, right? We should not lose our cool and just continue to work to come up with other sources. Diversification of the supply chain is a really good thing no matter what. So That's my thought for the day.
And that's a good thought, Tom. Good advice. Appreciate your phone call. And that's what we have to do. We can't be this is a national security issue. We can't be afraid of China withholding their minerals. I know we need them. But as Tom said, let's slash some of the government red tape so that we can mine those here in the United States. And let's start finding other sources for them. Let China keep them. Let them sit on them. And I appreciate Betty's phone call, but Betty was she's doing exactly what the left wants her to do. She's overreacting, and she's reacting with fear that China is going to withhold these rare earth minerals. Maybe they do. We can find them someplace else. Joe is in Illinois. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, Joey. Trump can use the defense Production Act to force mining of rare earth minerals in the desert Southwest.
Yeah.
We have them here in this
We do.
country.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and that's all it takes is one little swipe of a pen, and start digging it up.
Yeah, and we, it's been easy, and it's been less expensive to rely on China to be our primary supplier of these, because the left hasn't wanted us to disturb the environment to do the mining that we could do right here in the U.S. So we let China do it. But we got to rethink this. We got to open it up and allow these companies to do what they do best. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. Your comments are welcome as well. Send me a quick note on the MyPillow text line. Email me, joey@joeyhudson.com. Coming up, Americans appear to be in favor of the tariffs. Trump's ratings, his overall approval rating, has increased in the past week, even with all the chaos on Wall Street. I'm Joey Hudson, in for Mike.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.